Good afternoon, students. And so today we're going to be doing gerunds versus infinitives. What is a gerund? A gerund is a verbal or a verb-like word like ing that's used as a noun. So if I say, for example, I am shopping. Well, I am shopping is the present progressive, so that's not a gerund. But if I place the ing word or the verbal as a noun, so if I say something like shopping is fun, now shopping is a gerund. And so ing words or verbals can be used as nouns. And so whenever you have a gerund subject, it always takes a singular verb. So you cannot say shopping are fun, you have to say shopping is fun. And there are certain verbs in English that always take a gerund, and then certain verbs in English that always take an infinitive. And for most native speakers, that's just easy and piece of cake. But for ESL learners or ELL learners, they have to just learn which prepositions go with which verbs just by listening through English or hanging out with more English people or simply memorizing the list until they start speaking like native speakers. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and use notes from the Writers Rules for Writers by Diana Hacker and Nancy Sommers. You would think I know it by now after all these videos, right? So it's it's Diana Hacker and Nancy Sommers. So without further ado, I will share my screen. So become familiar with verbs that may be followed by gerunds or infinitives. A gerund is a verb form that ends in ing and is used as a noun, sleeping, dreaming. An infinitive is the word to plus the base form of the verb, to sleep, to dream. The word to is an infinitive marker, not a preposition in this use. A few verbs may be followed by either a gerund or an infinitive. Others may be followed by a gerund, but not an infinitive. Still others may be followed by both an infinitive, but not by a gerund. So the following commonly used verbs may be followed by a gerund or an infinitive with little to no difference in meaning. So I begin eating. I continue eating. I hate sleeping or waking early. I like eating a lot of steak. I love drawing portraits. I start eating early in the day. Or I begin to eat early in the day. I continue to bike on the beach. I hate to go on and on and on with lessons all the way until midnight. I like to sleep in late. So these particular verbs can take an infinitive or a gerund with no change in meaning. So if I say I begin drawing at 5 o'clock, or that would be verb plus an infinitive, or I begin to draw at 5 o'clock. No change in meaning, and that's good. Verb plus gerund or infinitive with a change in meaning. With a few verbs, the choice of a gerund or an infinitive changes the meaning dramatically. Forget, remember, stop, try. She stopped speaking to Lucia. She no longer spoke to Lucia. She stopped to speak to Lucia. She paused so that she could speak to Lucia. Verb plus gerund. These verbs may be followed by a gerund, but not an infinitive. Bill enjoys playing, not to play, the piano. Jamie quit smoking. So admit, appreciate, avoid, deny, discuss, enjoy, escape, finish, imagine, miss, postpone, practice, put off, quit, recall, resist, risk, suggest, tolerate. So all of these verbs may be followed by a gerund, but not an infinitive. So you cannot say, I imagine to watch a movie. So you have to say, I imagine myself watching a movie. So these verbs can only be used by, and don't ask me why, that's just the way it is. Verb plus infinitive. These verbs may be followed by an infinitive, but not a gerund. So here you have to say, I agree to listen to mark. I asked to take out the garbage. Well, not really. I begged to get another job or to get a bonus for my job. I claim to have seen aliens abduct me, so on and so forth. So all of these verbs take to plus a verb. Decide, expect, help, hope, manage, mean, need, offer, plan, pretend, promise, refuse, wait, want, wish, and would like. Jill has offered to water, not watering, the plants while we are away. John finally managed to find a parking space. A few of these verbs may be followed either by an infinitive directly or by a noun or pronoun plus an infinitive. We asked to speak to the congregation. We asked Rabbi Adams or Abrams to speak to our congregation. Verb plus noun and plus infinitive. With certain verbs in the active voice, a noun or pronoun must come between the verb and the infinitive that follows it. The noun or pronoun usually names a person who is affected by the action of the verb. Advise, allow, cause, command, convince, encourage, instruct, order, persuade, remind, require, tell, urge, warn. Warn. And in all of these verbs, you need to have a person and then the infinitive. And so here, the class encouraged Luis to tell the story of his escape. The counselor advised Haley to take 4 classes instead of 5. Verb plus noun plus pronoun plus unmarked infinitive. An unmarked infinitive is an infinitive without to. A few verbs, often called causative verbs, may be followed by a noun or pronoun and an unmarked infinitive. Have, cause, help, let, make. So Jorge had the valet park his car. Rose had the attendant to wash the windshield. Frank made me carry his book for him. Help can be followed by a pronoun or a noun and either a marked or a marked infinitive. Emma helped Brian wash the dishes. Emma helped Brian to wash the dishes. The infinitive used in some typical constructions with to and enough. The gift is too large to wrap. Our emergency pack has enough bottled water to last a week. Some of the hikers felt strong enough to climb another 1,000 feet. So let's do this really short exercise. I enjoy playing the piano. And you cannot say, I enjoy to play the piano. So enjoy only takes a gerund. The tutor told Samantha to wash her hands before she eats dinner. And so that kind of a verb, causative verb, in which you got to tell someone to do something, takes an infinitive. The team hopes to win the championship. So hopes always takes an infinitive. The team hopes to win. You cannot say the team hopes winning. Ricardo and his mother miss going on picnics. And you cannot say Ricardo and his brothers miss to go on picnics. This one takes both. John remembered watching the Titanic in 1992. So that's like a fond memory. John remembered watching the Titanic in 1999. Then John remembered to lock the door before he left for work. And that one you got to remind yourself. When it's an infinitive, that means you have to remind yourself to do something. And then if it's a gerund, it's a fond memory. So in this case, the verb, whether you follow it with remember, whether you use an infinitive or a gerund after it, changes the meaning of the word. So thus ends this video on gerunds. If you have any questions about how to use gerunds and infinitives, feel free to email me anytime.